All right, hello, welcome to the weather update. It's about 8:30, February 26th, 2020. Well, we've had kind of a dreary week after all that beautiful weather we had. A very warm day on Monday, and we're just going to actually look at how warm it was on Monday because Monday was very warm, and we're going to go ahead and look first at that. So, right now it's 47 degrees at Farming. It's kind of mild, but it feels raw with that east wind. Now, Farmingdale got up to, let's see what they got up to on Monday. That was the 24th. So it hit 56, 57 at Farmingdale, which again was quite warm, quite above normal for the year. However, it was significantly hotter in New Jersey, and I want to bring up what the Toms River actually wound up hitting that day. So let's do that, and let's see. Let's also see what it's like there. It looks like it's about the same as far as temperature goes right now. Waiting to pull up the information, but it did hit 64 in Toms River that day. If I can't pull it up, I can't pull it up, but I would like to pull it up. So let's see. All right, their meat machine is not there. Actually, it hit 65. So look at that. It hit 65 degrees in Toms River on Monday. Wow. So almost 10 degrees warmer there than it was here. And that's what it is. It's just very hot there. Very hot place. You see there, 65. Oh, I'll make it a little larger if you don't believe me here. So, see the 65 degree reading right there. All right, so 65 degrees in Toms River. Wow, that's something. Anyway, let's look at the radar. We haven't had much rain today. We had some rain, light rain yesterday, periodic light rain, maybe a couple of moderate showers in there. But for the day, we had a little drizzle in the morning, and it's just been cloudy. But we do have more rain that will be heading our way. And if we pan out and look at the radar, you will see we have some heavy rain off to the west and a very strong cold front that could even bring thunderstorms to the area. So let's go ahead and look at the models and see what. Well, first let's see what the current conditions are. And you can see, looks like they've got some warnings up in effect. This red here. What is this orange color? I think that's for lake effect. Pretty sure that's for lake effect. So let's see, legend. Let's see if that shows up there. Blizzard warnings, yeah. So they got blizzard warnings upstate because there's going to be some tremendous lake effect and some heavy snow in the cold air in the back. So this whole area here will be getting some very heavy snow. They will be getting snow. We're not going to be seeing anything. Looking at the current temperatures across the area, mainly in the mid 40s. We have some warmer air off to the south, but you can see that colder air already. We've got temperatures below freezing on the other side of the lakes. So this temperatures here will definitely be, there's going to be quite a bit of snow in this area. Let's first look at the upper air patterns, and we'll go ahead and we'll start off with that, and then we'll go ahead and look at some of the other stuff. So we'll just briefly go over the upper air patterns here and show you what's going to be happening here. So we have this big trough you see here diving down. That's going to be, this is the GFS. And you can see that trough, though, positive tilt, so no snow for us. But it will be quite cold through the weekend, but much below normal. A little taste of Arctic air. And then it moderates again, and we have another ridge, and then another trough seems to want to dive into the west. This one also has a little more encouragement here, maybe for some snow, but and then after that it lifts out, and then we're above normal again as we head into mid-March. So no real opportunities for cold. We still have this setup here where, we have opportunities for cold, but it's not sustained cold. And now we're heading into March, so chances for snow. If you're looking for big snow, well, go upstate. They're going to get pounded around the lakes. That's my advice to you. So there's the trough on the Euro. We get this huge ridge next week, and then another trough toward the end of the next weekend. So let's go back to the surface here and change our region to the CONUS view, and we'll see what the GFS is doing with this low. So you can see here, you can see that moisture coming up. So what's going to happen here is we're going to have this low. It's going to get pretty wrapped up, and the winds are going to pick up late tonight. Heavy rain, maybe a thunderstorm. That moves on out by the late morning, early afternoon. We may see a few peaks of sun. And that moves out, but you see how tight those isobars are over our area, which means we're going to have a lot of wind Thursday and Friday as well. We have this trough remaining in the east. which will bring us some cold weather. And then that moves out. Then we have this ridge build, and then we have the next system come also to our west. Very could be a real soaker overnight Wednesday. This is of course over a week away. Overnight Wednesday into Thursday morning. And then that moves out, and then it's pretty much a repeat of what we're going to be having tonight for right around the same time too. That's kind of weird. So that overnight period from late Wednesday night to early Thursday morning seems to bring in the heavier rain. Then another batch of cold air comes in, but no snowstorms again. So that's the thing, no snow, and then boom, we get the ridge. So what can I tell you? We are probably going to go through the entire month of February with no snowfall, which is very rare. That rarely ever happens. February is the snowiest month on Long Island, and it's very rare to see that. So let's go and look at the NAM 12 kilometer. We're going to look at all right, that's the 0C. We'll go to the 18Z. We're going to go and look at the NAM. So you see, dry tonight, and then that heavy rain moves in overnight. Probably sometime at 11 o'clock, around midnight, start getting some heavy rain around the area, possibly maybe even a thunderstorm. And then that moves on out, and then we're dry. Starting, I guess, around 8 o'clock for most of the island, 8 a.m., everything should be dry. We'll just be dealing with a lot of wind. And then we're done with the precipitation chances, and it will be dry, but cold after that. So let's see how much rain the NAM is going to bring us here on the total accumulated precip. So it's going to bring, depending on where you're at, you might get close to an inch of rain. But look at this. The NAM has over the western part of Long Island and New Jersey not as much rain at all, more like a half an inch or less. So that's kind of interesting right there. Let's shift this over to the 3 kilometer NAM. So let's see if the 3 kilometer NAM can bring us any more detail as far as the storm goes. Let's see, as far as this line, you can see those little areas of red that are popping up. So that's where it could be some heavy precipitation there. And the reason why is if we go and we look at the dew points, there'll be some humidity that's going to get in right ahead of that front. So let's go ahead and look at that here. And this is the high resolution NAM again, that the 3 kilometer NAM. So you see, it does keep the most of the humid air away, but it gets close. It may be close enough to introduce some. Looks like maybe if anyone's going to get into the real humid air, probably be southern Jersey. But after that, you could see you could see the winds really pick up from the west. Really strong west winds, and those dew points start dropping fast. So it does dry out, and you can see that really huge cyclonic flow bringing down the cold air from Canada behind that storm system. So let's go back to let's keep it in this region, but let's go and change the models to the GFS. And we will look at the temperatures. I'll also want to look at the total accumulated precip as well on this GFS as well, as far as for tomorrow goes. And you can see it doesn't even bring us that heavy rain. So the rain is going to be showery. It probably won't be that steady, but there could be some pockets of heavy rain embedded. Let me see how the GFS handles the dew point situation. Brings in the humidity a little bit closer, but you can see a 50-degree dew point over Toms River. But I think Long Island, with that easterly flow, I think if we are in the warm sector, it'll be very brief. And then the dry air just rushes in on the back side of that. But with that wind, we're going to be seeing some pretty strong wind chills. So let's go look at the temperatures now and show you how those temperatures are going to drop as we head into Thursday. So here is today. You can see we got close to 50, but here comes you can see over the morning, you can see that warm sector over Jersey early Thursday morning there, and then boom, it's out by the 8 a.m. and the west wind's screaming in. Temperatures are probably falling through the 40s. By Friday morning, we are down to the freezing mark, probably below freezing, and then for Friday, we're going to only make it probably the mid-30s, maybe low 40s in Jersey, and then for Saturday, we're going to struggle to reach the low 30s probably on Long Island. Maybe we'll get to the mid-30s across our area, which again is about 5 to 6 degrees below normal. Sunday, more of the same, mid-30s, which is below normal. And then mid-30s again for Monday. So we're going to have a little stretch of cool weather, but then here comes the heat for next week. Look at Tuesday. Look at Jersey already. They're going to we may have this front over our air, so Long Island may only be in the mid 40s, but look at Jersey, roasting probably 60 above, 60 or higher, and that really warm, disgusting air comes in overnight. Of course, this is a ways away. It was over a week away, but you could see we're going to get some warmth in the area, and then behind it again, it cools down again. Um, but not as oh yeah, and then here's a dramatic plunge that it has around the ninth. So it has well, you saw that deep trough there, but it's very brief. But one day we may not make it out of the 20s, but then it recovers very quick again. So uh, that's a ways away again with the temperatures. I can't really say for certain what's going to happen with that. So I guess the next thing we'll look at is the wind. Actually, let's go to the wind for. Well, I like to use windy.com for that, but we'll look at the wind too. So because the winds will be picking up tomorrow. So this is the GFS. You could see some strong winds here, probably gusts up to 40 miles an hour. And offshore could be even higher than that. It's going to be windy right through Friday, and then maybe the winds back off by Saturday. So now we'll go look at the skies on the GFS. So obviously, plenty of clouds around. And tomorrow, though, we'll start off with clouds, but then by the afternoon, we might see some breaks of sun more south of the area. And then for Friday, maybe we can break into some more mostly sunny skies, though we may still have to worry about clouds. But looks like if we get lucky, we'll have clear skies right over Long Island for Friday. And then Saturday, we'll see some more clouds, and there's going to be some cyclonic instability in the air, so wouldn't be surprised if there are a couple of scattered snow showers. This is cyclonic instability, and also due to the lakes, maybe a little more moisture from the lakes, and they're going to get pounded with snow upstate. We're going to get that. Sunday, there'll be more sun, hopefully, over our area, and then Monday, we'll have to worry about the cirrus rolling in on us. I can look at the NAM as well. Let me look at the NAM. Well, first, speaking of snowfall, just out of curiosity, let's go ahead and look at the total snowfall amount for upstate, because you'll see they're going to get pounded upstate. So here is 12. Here is what's going to happen. So you can see those areas upstate are growing. This is all lake effect here. Now, normally, in a normal winter, most of the lakes would be frozen. We wouldn't see lake effect in this late in the year. Normally, the way it used to be is lake effect used to stop around January. Now it goes all winter because the lakes never freeze because there's no sustained cold. So looks like we could get a foot or more of snow up in those areas there, upstate there. Looks like around let's see where that is. Buffalo. Buffalo's over here. Syracuse. Those areas up there. So it could be some talking maybe 20 inches more snow. So if you want to see the snow, you go upstate. There'll be plenty up there, way upstate, obviously, but there will be wherever the lake effect is. Wow, somebody's just cheering. I don't know what the heck's going on. I don't know if you heard that. Let's look at the ICON snowfall map. So ICON not quite as bullish as the GFS, and I bet the NAM is even more bullish than that. Let's go back to 18Z. Yeah, no, the NAM has higher snowfalls up here. So that's not lake effect that it's generating. But there is some lake. Oh, yeah, there's the lake effect. There it is. You can see it showing up over here and over here. We'll have to watch it, but they have blizzard warnings because there's going to be very strong winds and blowing snow. So that's why they have the blizzard warnings up there for that area. Let's go shift this over to the NAM 3 kilometer and look at how the NAM is going to handle the skies. Again, I got to put this over to 18Z. So let's see. Obviously, plenty of clouds tomorrow, and like I said, I think there'll be some more breaks of sun in the afternoon. According to this, maybe we might go mostly sunny late in the afternoon. I think it's more likely on Friday we see some more sun. We'll have to see what happens, and that's as far as it goes. So let's go and look at the windy.com model here, and go ahead and take a look at this. We will be looking at this as purely from the aspect of the wind speeds here. I mean, I can look at the temperatures too, but let's first start with the wind. We'll just go right to wind gusts to show you that the winds are going to pick up. So as we get toward 2 this morning, you can see we're seeing wind gusts now in the mid-30s. As we get to the morning, you see with that It probably won't be with the LLJ because the core of that LLJ doesn't really get in. It's going to be right behind that cold front when it passes. The winds are going to gust from the west, probably up near 40 miles an hour. Let's see. Yeah, up near 40 miles an hour. It won't be as bad as some other wind events we've had. We've had worse. But it will be, tomorrow will be a very windy day. So it could be maybe some widely scattered power outages and problems. The main thing is the wind chill, because you can see it shows the temperature here, 41. So the wind chill, with that wind, it's going to feel like it's in the 20s. And then I think by Friday the winds back off a little bit. So the winds back off by Friday, so the winds won't be as bad, you see, but it will be colder. No, the winds are still going to be up there on Friday, so we're still going to have 40-mile-an-hour gusts. 40-mile-an-hour gusts, and the temperature is actually, this is not the temperature, that's the wind speed. If we go and we put this to temperature, you'll see here. So tomorrow we're going to be around 42. But Friday, we're going to have temperatures colder than that, probably in the mid-30s. So wind chills might be in the teens. So we're going to have some really, it's going to feel quite cold. And then as we go into Saturday, we will see, because this is according to the Euro model, again, the windy.com uses the Euro model. Well, this is what I have chosen on the windy.com. But Saturday's going to be quite cold. It's going to be struggling to reach the freezing mark. Sunday, maybe a little bit warmer, probably. Yeah, near upper 30s, maybe low 40s over Toms River. Let's see how this does with the cloud cover to show you what I mean. So tomorrow you see there'll be some clouds, some sun, mix of sun and clouds. More sun toward the afternoon according to this model. And then Friday, again, we have this like little window over Long Island. We don't know how long it'll hold, but if we're lucky, we'll have a mostly sunny day, hopefully. And then we clear out, and then Saturday we'll have more clouds around, as we're going to probably have like a little trough moving through, and then Sunday, hopefully it'll be clearer. Yeah, the Euro has it clearer that day. So let's go back to Friday here. Let me go back to the temperatures, actually, because I want to show you how cold it's going to get Friday night. So here we are at the temperatures. These are the Euro readings. So how's this getting to the mid-20s by Saturday morning? Mid-20s, so it's going to be pretty chilly. Mid-20s, wow. That's going to be very chilly. Sunday, it might even be colder Sunday morning. Let's see, 2 a.m., mid-20s. Yeah, mid-20s. So mid-20s. It's about mid-20s. All right, so last thing I want to talk about here in this weather update, a little bit of a rant here, because this is hardly being talked about. A heat wave in Antarctica has melted 20% of an island snow in 9 days. So, we're dealing with the climate crisis that we're continuing to deal with. And if I go to earthnullschool.net, you will see here, let me load this up here, that we are dealing with this climate crisis. And if we were just look at the sea surface temperature anomalies, and you see a lot more red on this map, and it's just a sign of what we're dealing with here. As we deal with this climate crisis that's continuing to worsen, and you have locust plagues going on in Africa, and then here's the rant. Everybody's talking about coronavirus. Now, coronavirus it is started in China, and it's getting talked about because it's affecting a certain demographic, and I'm going to talk about it because coronavirus is just part of what we're going to be dealing with as we deal with the worsening effects of climate change. Okay, so here's where the rant comes in, because everybody is missing the point about what's happening, and coronavirus and these pandemics, climate change is actually causing these kind of things to happen, and will be happening more and more because we're not seeing the really frigid cold that you're supposed to see in winter. Extended periods of frigid cold kill germs. And when you don't have that, there are more germs in the air, whether that be viruses or bacteria. And there are even viruses and bacteria that have been frozen in permafrost that may be released as the permafrost melts. But all they care about, especially News 12, all they care about is how it's affecting the stock market, because again, they gear to a certain demographic. These white finance professionals, these people on the South Shore, that's what they gear to. This week the stock market has been tanking. Every day it's been going down, and it's not that I want to see this happen, but this is what happens when you get too greedy, and Wall Street has been too greedy, and they're obviously upset because it affects trade and stuff, and they're worried about that. But this is how climate change, even in your own little bubble, in your own little enclave that you think you're safe from, this is how climate change can affect you, because we're going to see more stuff like this. And it's going to hurt the economy more and more as we deal with more and more natural disasters, which is going to hurt the stock market. All right? So think about that. Think about that. So News 12 obviously has been wall-to-wall with this. It's not local news at all whatsoever, but they are covering it because News 12 gears to a certain demographic. They're as local as the South Shore gets, and they don't really cover much of what happens in the middle of the island. We know that already. News 12 is probably one of the worst offenders with that. But this is just the beginning, folks. This is just the beginning. And for those who, Wall Street, you're going to have to start investing in companies that are going to get this climate crisis under control, all right? And we need to change the way Wall Street works completely, all right? And it may take a crash to do that. It may take a crash to stop the corruption that's been happening. It's not that I want to see it happen, but in a way, it's been a long time coming. The market's been overvalued. Real estate prices are inflated terribly. Everything costs way too much, and it's time for this bubble to deflate and pop once and for all. And, maybe it'll make Long Island a much more affordable place for people to live again. And I'm sorry if a certain demographic won't profit from that. But this does pertain to the environment because we will be seeing more and more things like this. Coronavirus is just part of what's going to be happening throughout as we deal with climate change. Now, the other thing about coronavirus is it's only, I think, 1 to 2% fatal. So it's really not much different than the flu. So I think we are seeing an overreaction of it. But obviously, News 12, they are, again, using this to their full advantage, trying to put the blowhard up there. Our president, trying to make this all a political thing. But, again, he doesn't get it. No one gets it, that this is all going to be happening more and more due to the climate crisis. And this climate crisis, I really wish we'd see the same kind of reaction from people about the climate crisis that we're seeing about coronavirus, because the climate crisis is real. It is getting worse, and it really does have the potential to snuff out all life on Earth if we don't do something about it. That's the way I feel about it. So, of course, I'm going to talk about that. That has to do with the environment, and I'm sorry if a certain demographic doesn't like that. But we need to start taking this climate crisis seriously. If you want less pandemics around, then we've got to start stopping this planet from out of control warming that's going on across this planet right now. It's not just the natural disasters. It's not just the fires. It's not just the sea level rise. It's also the fact that there are going to be more and more of these diseases that normally would be killed off by cold weather in the winter that aren't going to be. And there are going to be more diseases around. And we're going to have to change the way we live. Like, people who are sick need to stay home. You see people outside coughing and coughing. In the future, we're not going to be people who have coughs shouldn't even be allowed to go out. All right? That may be the direction we're going to have to go in. Or they need to wear a mask. But there are a lot of things that are going to need to change in this world as we adapt to this changing climate. And, humanity could be brought to the brink. That's all I can say. So that's really the really scary thing about this. But they're all just focused on coronavirus, its economic impacts. They're not thinking of the big picture once again. Typical myopic vision from the mainstream media and News 12 and our elected officials about just how serious this climate crisis is. So take care, and thank you for watching.